Hello and welcome everyone. I am super excited to have you all here. Thank you for joining us for Harnessing Consensus videos for marketing success with Ana-Lisa Montenegro. My name is Lauren Burns and I am a client success manager here at Consensus. I will be the moderator for today's session. DEMOFEST is presented by Consensus. Transform how you sell with Consensus, the first ever product experience platform. Automate demos, drive faster decisions, and accelerate growth. You can learn more at goconsensus.com or click watch a demo at the top of your screen. We encourage you to participate in today's session. You can find a few ways to engage with us on the right side of your console. The chat function will allow you to connect with us as well as the other attendees. You can find some helpful resources in the Docs tab. And lastly, your speaker will answer any questions at the end of the session. So please ask your questions at any time through the Q&A box, which I will filter through towards the end of the session. If at any time you're having technical difficulties, please head to the gear button on the bottom of your screen. This is where you will see a help document to troubleshoot common issues. And now I would like to introduce our speaker, Ana-Lisa Montenegro. Ana-Lisa is a trained architect turned marketing specialist, bridging the worlds of design and business in the AEC industry. She's got a knack for turning big ideas into actionable marketing insights, go-to-marketing plans, and product launches. As the director of marketing at Microsoft Resources, she spearheads brand management, digital marketing, and demand generation for top industry partners like Autodesk, McNeil Rhino, Bluebeam, Ignite, and more. When she's not crafting campaigns, you'll find her chasing adventure with her kids, exploring new destinations, or soaking up Maine's summer charm. And with that, I will turn the rest of the time over to you, Ana-Lisa. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing.
Okay. Thanks, Lauren.
Of course.
Nice to see everybody here. Okay. Just let me know if you can see it.
Looks good. We can see it. I'm going to head backstage.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks again to Consensus and Lauren for having me here at DEMOFEST. I'm excited to share how we're harnessing Consensus videos to drive marketing success and generate new business opportunities at Microsoft Resources. So as Lauren had mentioned in this session, I'll walk you through how we've integrated this innovative tool into our marketing tech stack and the measurable impact we've had. We've not only improved the quality of our leads and accelerated business growth, but we've also achieved greater alignment with our strategic goals. So all while we're minimizing the load on our technical sales team and empowering our clients to advocate, for solutions internally. But before we jump in, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. As Lauren said, I'm Ana-Lisa, the Director of Marketing at Microsoft Resources. I've been in this role for 13 years and with the company for over 2 decades. Before joining Microsoft, I was a trained architect in Manila and later moved to San Francisco. And somewhere along the way, I discovered a love for marketing and business development, and I never looked back. So now I lead targeted marketing strategies that expand our reach, deepen our client engagement, and reinforce our position as a go-to partner for design and construction technology. On a personal note, outside of work, I'm a proud mom of 2. My daughter's a senior in college, and my son just started high school. I also have a husband who's British. So yes, go Newcastle for all of those football fans. I'm calling you from New York City, and I'm thrilled to be here with all of you virtually today. So as you know, this is actually a case study. I just wanted to maybe pause and kind of like talk about what we do at Microsoft Resources and the marketing team. So our mission is we want to position Microsoft Resources as a technology partner, and we drive this through strategic content and digital campaigns. We do educational webinars and events and insights via articles and industry collaborations. All of this fuels brand authority, thought leadership, and ultimately business growth. So I wanted to kind of like maybe just talk about the buyer's journey and how we position it. So we structure our funnel around the customer's decision-making stages, from the first touch to the final deal, to align content and their mindset at every point. So for the early awareness stage, our objective is to educate our potential customers who are just discovering their needs. So for the tactics is that we use blog articles. Sometimes it's about OS and hardware recommendations. It could also be turned into a video. I know it's all about video content today. We can also share comparison matrices, technical tips. Sometimes there's social media and industry ads. So our goal is to build awareness and thought leadership during this stage. So the second stage is for solution seeking. So our objective is to guide our prospects searching for solutions within industry-specific content. And I'll tell you more about the industry-specific in a bit. So sometimes we do webinars on mandates, technology trends, and those we turn into video and content. We also do white papers, business value, sometimes they're technical oriented, and also some industry association collaborations. And our goal is to position ourselves as problem solvers. And then the third stage that we do is the solution oriented, which is the buying cycle engagement. Our objective is to influence the decision makers who are ready to purchase. And for the tactics, we either use personalized email campaigns, direct sales follow-up, and promotions and value-based offers. So our goal is to drive one-on-one engagements and conversions. So for accelerator campaigns, meaning at the end of the quarter, we have an objective to speed up the deals for prospects close to deciding. And again, we either do it with not just via targeted email or incentives like extra training or support. So to create this lead and client nurture program, we created a multi-touch, multi-channel lead nurturing program to engage our clients, regardless of their purchase timing. But before I continue, I'd love to hear from you. What marketing tactics have worked best for your team to stay top of mind? I'd love to hear back about that during the Q&A session. So we use our tactics to nurture leads consistently, to build trust, brand equity, and engagement. So our goal is to be there when they are ready to buy. We track our success by engagement rates, lead quantity and quality, and marketing and sales engagement and alignment throughout the funnel. I just wanted to kind of like maybe talk about our situation and also ask you, what are the issues you face in your own sales and marketing organization? So for us, for over 3 decades, Microsoft resources have helped architectural design, engineering, construction firms, and property owners with the best CAD and BIM software solutions using Autodesk software. We train the project teams and offer consulting services to ensure that our clients get the most from their technology investments. However, selling Autodesk software across a diverse industry groups presents a big challenge. We need to tailor our solutions and sales approaches to specific industry needs and buying behaviors. We have different industry challenges that we face. Our clients span across a wide range of AEC roles, from architects to MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineers, civil and structural engineers, contractors and subcontractors, and property owners. Each of them have a unique workflow and software needs. So we need to first understand the industry-specific needs. Are there any different industries that have compliance needs and demands? Do they have fragmented tech stacks? Many clients use legacy system and niche tools, so integration is key. They also have unique pain points. Each discipline values different features. Architects focus on design, however, engineers on structural integrity, and contractors, they focus on constructability and cost. So what do? we tailor our sales and marketing approaches. So we tailor it according to aligning our solutions and content to industry-specific use cases or verticalization. We also speak the language of each sector because generic messaging doesn't cut it. So we need very industry-specific messaging. And our sales reps are trained to understand their industries deeply. I'm sure yours does too. There are also other organizational challenges. One, the hardware-centric sales culture doesn't always map to software selling. Buyers now include CIOs, COOs, not just technology users. Two, the customer lifecycle management, post-sale supports and renewals and growing customer lifetime value are critical. And three, software deals may be lower than hardware deals, so it impacts sales incentives and structures. All this to say, that's our situation. And the problem we face is that we were spending too much time qualifying leads manually and chasing demos that didn't go anywhere. Meanwhile, our tech sales team were stretched thin, stuck in repetitive demo loops or early stage demonstrations and conversations with unqualified prospects. And on the post-sale side, we educate clients after purchase on complex products was also eating up a lot of bandwidth. We needed a better way, something scalable, personalized, and effective. So that's why we ended up with Consensus. We use interactive voice video demos that work while we sleep. Consensus allowed us to automate our demos so prospects could engage on their terms while still getting a tailored experience. So here's what changed. For pre-sales, there are self-guided demos. Buyers explore solutions when they're ready. 2, personalization engine. They see content based on their role and interests. And 3, our reps know who watched what, for how long, and who else they shared it with. So the result, we saw more qualified leads, less time spent on tire kickers, and sales enters the conversation when it matters most. Now for post-sales, onboarding and expansion is key. We use Consensus to educate clients post-purchase on advanced features, integrations, or add-ons. It also supports internal champions who need to sell the solution within their organization. It reduces strain on our support and tech consulting teams. So what's the result? We had smarter customers, more upsell opportunities, and they had a better customer experience. And there are fewer how do I calls, right? That eat up a lot of time. So why it works is that Consensus sits at the intersection of buyer enablement, sales acceleration, and scalable support. It's a win-win-win. So how does marketing drive engagement and qualified leads for the sales team? So to bolster our outreach efforts and drive business growth, we leverage email campaign using target audience and content for our email campaigns. We track those that view the videos or share them with their other team members. We set up a link to book a meeting. We track those clicked on the links to our website. And here's a sample of those 2 emails I mentioned. Oops. I just wanted to mention for the opportunities and actions, there's a sample here and a screenshot of a demo library. And thanks to the Autodesk content, they created the different library for the different products and the different features, sometimes teaching them one at a time, right? Depending on the products and what they're interested in. We have a Consensus demo automation, and we're able to build a stronger sales pipeline. We're able to capture interest early and nurture leads. And we're able to introduce adjacent solutions and introduce different dependency on tech sales for qualifications. We were able to reduce them. We minimize meeting coordination headaches. When are you available? And we help customers pitch solutions internally. And as far as like what did we use to track our leads, these are the different tech stack that we used for our company. So what did we see for our results? We generated new business opportunities by capturing client interest and nurturing leads. We built a pipeline for better qualified leads, and we allowed an easy introduction to adjacent solutions with customers. We minimized the dependency on technical sales, right? And we had a smoother sales cycle altogether. Now, I didn't realize I was going through really quickly here. I'm sorry, Lauren. But I just wanted to ask if anybody else have any questions, and I'm available. And I also wanted to connect with you on LinkedIn, so please feel free to reach out. Lauren?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you indeed, yes.
Hello, awesome. Everyone, feel free to drop any questions that you might have in the chat or the Q&A, and I can call them out here. Looks like we got one here. What challenges did you have to overcome to get your team on board to implement the solution? This is from Garrett Erickson.
Great question, Garrett. We actually had lots of challenges. I think one thing is to find the right language, right? Like, because every single AE have their own way of approaching. Honestly, there's lots of different challenges, and I was just gonna say I should have had one about lessons learned, is to one, find a champion within your organization to try and find out like who would approach it first. Two, I think the biggest one is that hardly anybody, and I can only count to like one or two champions that would use the personalized introduction beforehand. They're okay with it being on the phone, but when you say we want to record you, do an introduction before your demonstration or before the video, they're resistant to it. So those were a couple of things, but I can just like tell you that it's a lot more effective and a lot more interesting to have the introduction. And I think those were the only ones. I think once they have experienced one campaign that we have done for each AE, everybody was like so excited about not just the efficacy of like using consensus videos, but everybody was so excited to jump on and become the next AE. And I think that's the other challenge, was that it was so effective and it was so successful as far as like our outreach, that actually our like, AEs basically ask us not to send to too many people at a time. So in the initial stages, when we would email people, we would email 1,000 people or 2,000 people with the same messaging. And I think for them, they had a hard time coming up with 2 weeks or 3 weeks of like data that they have to follow up. And I think what I would say would be to like streamline it, and maybe don't be afraid to play with what works and do beta testing and alpha beta, and then what works for one AE might not necessarily be the best solution for another. The great news is that consensus is so customizable and flexible that you could actually use different ways to do it. Sorry, it's a roundabout question.
Okay, we got another question here from Katie McAllick. Thank you, Katie. What are your recommendations for marketing teams that haven't adopted consensus that yours have, especially when it is in use by our new logo sales reps?
Sorry, what? Repeat the question again.
Of course. What are your recommendations for marketing teams that haven't adopted consensus? I think it means to say the way that your team has, especially when it is in use by our new logo sales reps.
I understand. So I do understand. I would probably say that the initial push for the consensus solution for us was for our sales team. And it was to help them with their bandwidth and all. But what we quickly realized is that it's a gold mine of an opportunity for the marketing team. And I think that's part of the reason that we're here with consensus right now, because we wanted to talk about like how successful the solution has been for the marketing team. And I think sometimes it's just the same thing as the sales team. I think the initial quandary of like how you would institute it and then in what kind of messaging would be helpful. But at the same time, I think these days there are so many like LLMs, right, that could help you build the various email queries that you could initially build, because in marketing, not only do you have to worry about the video content library, with marketing, I feel that the other challenge is to create the email library that you would use for that particular content. And I think the first thing I would just like say is that don't be afraid. Again, it's a flexible, scalable solution. You could always change your trajectory. You could always pivot. Marketing teams are great with that. Um, and it actually works for any kind of deal size or any kind of product or any kind of anything. So I would suggest just jump in the water and try it and use it. You'll be the biggest hero for your company after you've tried it.
Love it. Thank you so much. Okay, we got a couple other questions here from Victoria McGovern. Were there any really unique, non-traditional ways your team used demos to drive pipeline?
Unique ways. I would just like say, I think it would be, I would probably like say we're not as, um, as what do you call it, experience with the customization, right? So I would probably say that's a unique way would be that you could, because the way we've done it is that Autodesk created our video library that we were able to use. Just because we don't have the depth and breadth of specialists for those different particular software that we sell, that's why we needed it. I would probably say the uniqueness of the way we use consensus is that it was marketing that was leading the charge in using consensus, as opposed to other companies that I have heard that sales teams are the ones that use the demo automation and consensus as a tool. But I'm actually curious to find out, Lauren, maybe you have some insight on this. Do you feel that your consensus is more of a sales users as opposed to marketing users?
It definitely can depend, and there's definitely a huge range of different use cases, different teams using it. Really just depends. I've seen tons of growth, especially on the marketing side, but sales is kind of where we started, pre-sales is where we started. So it's cool to see those use cases really grow and expand to the marketing side as well.
I agree. And again, when I was doing my presentation, I know it went really quickly. I apologize, but I also just like wanted to say that post sales is quite important and quite again a unique proposition that you could use, because for the customer success team, right, like why use their bandwidth for doing other demos when you could onboard people and the team using videos you've already created? Same library, different uses. It's two for one.
Absolutely. I see in the chat here, Garrett made a comment. There are more sales users overall within the organizations we work with at Consensus, but this tool is built to fit the entire funnel. So yeah, like we were saying, it really could be lots of different fits, lots of different use cases. It's just going to really depend on your organization, whatever situation you guys have going on as well. And backtracking a little bit, I see Katie McAllick made a comment. In response to her question, she said, "Thank you. We use Consensus for our sales team from a sales enablement standpoint, but we've been contemplating use cases for Consensus from a demand gen standpoint for marketing, especially specifically hosting content on our website and driving engagement ahead of in-market events."
That's a great thing. It's something that we were initially looking at, but I guess the hardship on that one would be just to tracking the metrics. And if it's gated opportunity, then that's great, right? I think sometimes too, it's about the timeliness of like when you respond to them, but it is a great tool. Again, flexible and scalable solution.
Yeah, love the comment, Katie. I think that's definitely a really excellent use case as well. Katie and I actually work together as well, so that's great. She's one of my customers, so I love seeing you be able to jump in here, Katie. Really appreciate that as well. Going back to the Q&A, here's a great question from Portia O'Neill. What is your biggest piece of advice for evangelizing Consensus within your organization?
I understand what you mean. I think the biggest advice would be to like share the success and even like share the pain points at the same time. So it's always like great to show what worked and what didn't work. And I think those lessons learned was like really integral to say, what might work for one AE doesn't necessarily mean it wouldn't work for somebody else. I mean, one of the pain point I mentioned before is that sending too many emails to a big group of people and not being able to respond to the needs to when the prospect raised their hand, right? And then that's what, because you want to be able to say you want to respond within 24 or 48 hours of their engagement, just so that they're still fresh in their mind and that you can still have that relevant conversation with what worked and didn't work for them. Yeah, it's a good question.
Something I want to double click on there that you just said is, I love that you said sharing those successes that can go a really long way. So I love that you highlighted that. Okay, we have another question here. Have you noticed a difference in the quality of leads that come based on whether or not they watched a demo? In other words, are the leads that come from the Consensus content better than a traditional lead?
Definitely. I think the other idea here is that they have already engaged with your brand. They've already engaged with the product. And why wouldn't the lead quality be better? I mean, and imagine it. I mean, I wasn't being coy when I said earlier on that Consensus actually works while we sleep. So the other great thing is that it also being used in different time zone. So it is great sometimes that we would see that somebody else would open up that video and watch it later, after work hours or early in the morning. So that was actually part of the other, interesting things that we have learned when we're trying to find out like when they ended up using it, right? And then going through I have to use the Consensus term demolytics behind the analytics of the video watching, and then seeing all the digital footprint that all of the viewers had done. So no, that's great news.
I love you calling out the people watching after hours or different time zones. That's one of my favorite things to see our customers have that type of engagement after hours, because we all live in a global world these days, and it's hard to reach everybody at every time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to sleep. So like you're saying, Consensus kind of sells while you're asleep. So I love that point that you made. Very excellent. Let's see. Awesome. We got a thank you here. Any other questions? It looks like we've come up on the end of questions, but we do have some time for some more if there's anything else that any of y'all would like to add. perfect. I will go ahead and are you guys able to see my screen?
I am able to see it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks, Lauren.
Perfect. Of course, of course. And thank you, Annalisa. As we begin to wrap up this session, I'd like to share a few exciting reminders and announcements. Stop by the virtual expo to visit our premier partners who've gone above and beyond to contribute to making this event a success for all of you. Don't forget to check out our raffle giveaway. Information on how to enter, as well as the live leaderboard, can be found pinned at the top of the public chat, as well as in the Docs tab. We are very excited to be bringing DEMOFEST on the road again as DEMOFEST X. We had a great time in San Francisco this February, and we can't wait to bring the event to NYC and London again later this year. You can register to join us at demofest.com or find the link in the Docs tab. So thank you all for joining us for the session, and thank you to Annalisa for your valuable insight and knowledge. We really appreciate it. Up on the screen are the upcoming sessions. You will automatically be pushed to the next session in your track, and you can switch tracks by toggling to the agenda tab on the top left of your screen. Thanks again, and we will see you all very soon. Have a great day, everyone.